Dan Ives is here. He's the managing director of equity research at Wedbush Securities. Dan, first of all, what's your take on the truck? And then we'll talk about your take on the stock.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think in terms of the launch, I kind of viewed it as a disaster in terms of other launch events, in terms of what we saw with the cracked glass, just from an optical perspective, like Joe was saying. In terms of the truck, it's the wow factor, the Mad Max, Blade Runner type thing. But it comes down to, from an investor perspective, is it niche or mass market? I think it's more niche. I think for this, to get anything north of 100K units is going to be difficult. That's what the street's focused on. I don't view it as really gaining any share versus Ford or GM, which is really the big question going into last night.
Yeah, the bigger question around the stock at this point may be what happened in the third quarter. They had so much momentum. They did better than anticipated with earnings. Can they keep that up?
Well, I think it's a fork in the road situation because they had the profitability. You obviously seen the stock react, a massive sort of rebound. Can they continue to hit that profitability and demand going in 2020? I think right now that's going to be difficult, especially given demand in the U.S. Europe has been ramping, China and Giga 3. But right now, I think this is sort of the next 1 to 2 quarters will determine if this is a $200 to $250 stock or $400 to $450, and we continue to be more cautious here.
So, I mean, we have seen a big run in the shares just over the last 2 months. That you say hold off, wait and see? Yeah,
I'd be selling into these, in this sort of rally that we see into the stock. I think it's one where a lot of good news baked in. I think street numbers continue to sort of, go above going into 2020. And I think when I look at overall demand here, and I look at just Model Y and some of the new products coming out, they've done a phenomenal job back against the wall. You got to give Musk credit. But in terms of the stock here, risk reward, I continue to be more yellow light rather than a green.
What would change your mind in the next earnings report?
I think you'd have to see demand in Europe continue to significantly beat expectations, a demand pickup in the U.S., but it all comes down to profitability. If they could show sustained profitability, which we're a bit skeptical of, then I think that would be a step up. Right now, I think that's sort of the prove me situation.
Is there anything that could have happened last night where you could have gone, wow, I got to get behind this thing?
Well, I think kind of like Phil hit, if it was more of a mass market type of product, because that's something you could say, okay, you got 3 million pickups in the U.S. If you could gain significant share there, right, then you could start to build that into your numbers. I think what we're looking here is best case 100, 150K.
So because it looks so weird, you think it's a niche product?
I think it's a Blade Runner. I think it's one where it's great to pull up to parties in 2021, 2022. Outside of that, it's going to be hard for this to get mass. And I ultimately think you look at F-150, 1.1 million that they're selling per year. I don't really see, I see that as Teflon, like I don't see them gaining share there.